Welcome to another edition of Three the Hard Way. I got the fellas in the house. I got Coach Hot Rod, Mr. Rodney Young. What's up, Rod?
What is going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Let's get this thing on. Y'all know how I get down. I'm ready to roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, and this show wouldn't be what it is without my guy, fellow Warrensvillian, Mr. Terrence Austin. What's going on, T?
What's going on, UP Nation? What's up, fellas? Homeboys, what's happening?
All right, man. Hey, let's not waste no time. Let's get into it. Let's start on the NBA side of things. The Los Angeles Lakers were dismissed by my Timberwolves. I tried to tell people after the first game, it just looked like a mismatch energy-wise, athleticism-wise. But the one thing that came out of that series were two questions. I think the two main questions were the Dallas Mavericks kind of vindicated in the way Luka looked in that series? And also, what's next for LeBron James? Does he stick around with the Lakers? I've heard rumors about the Dallas Mavericks, the 76ers, the typical LeBron James landing spots. What's next for LeBron? First, let's start with the Luka side of things. Is there some sort of vindication for the Dallas Mavericks moving him to Los Angeles, looking at what he looked like during that series?
Let me go first, Rod. Nico slept well after that series. He said, see, I told you. That's why I got rid of him. Luka, when he was walking to the locker room, he looked heavy, he looked lethargic, he looked out of shape. He looked every reason why the Dallas Mavericks cut bait with him, okay? He looked every bit of it. Now, what needs to happen, if you were to ask me, during the offseason, this kid needs to get in shape. He needs to get in shape. Go take a 2-week vacation, 2-week hiatus, and then come back ready to get in shape, practice, start eating right, taking care of himself, getting his body right so he can be ready for the whole entire season. Just like when after Magic's rookie year, they called him Tragic Johnson. He worked hard in the offseason and he looked totally different next season. So Luka needs to dedicate this whole offseason to getting himself right and getting ready. Now, as far as LeBron, he's going to leave on his own accord. He is. But he did, you don't get any faster, quicker, better as you age. Again, a lot of folks are saying, including the great Rob Parker, say he needs to pull the plug and be done with. He needs to. But again, we know LeBron, he'll leave on his own accord. But getting back to Luka, yeah, he needs to get right this offseason and get healthy and be ready to play ball. That's my take.
Man, Luka did look bad. I will agree with T. He looked bad. He really looks out of shape. Is Nico Harrison sleeping well? No, yeah, he's sitting up, him and Jason Kidd, like, see, we tried to tell y'all. We tried to tell you. He looked like a basketball player that doesn't work out. That's exactly what it is. He looks like it's just roll the ball out. You know how it was when we was kids, y'all. Roll the ball out. Let's go ahead and get it on. But he has to continue to learn how to be a professional. And unfortunately, I truly believe in that series, not only did Luka look bad, but JJ Redick was outcoached badly. Even after his press conference, when he walked out and the reporter just asked a simple question, had you used your assistant coaches, and he seemed to got a little bit perturbed about it. Well, don't get perturbed, just answer the question, because it looks like what he was trying to be nice enough to say is, Coach, you got outcoached. And there was adjustments. He kept going small against the T-Wolves. When you're dealing, with Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, why would you continue to go small? It just didn't make any sense. But Luka needs to decide this offseason what he's going to do. If he's truly going to be a professional and get himself in shape. When it comes to LeBron, Man, who knows what LeBron is going to do? LeBron going to try to ride this thing till the brakes fall off, because I believe if he leaves Los Angeles, he needs to take Bronny with him, because Bronny's not going to stay there. I truly believe the Lakers, and no disrespect to Bronny James, he did really well in the G League this year, averaging close to 30. He's seeing it. But I believe the Lakers wasted a roster spot. You were never going to play him in the playoffs. You were never going to use Bronny really legitimately during the regular season. Okay? So you wasted a clear roster spot. Just holding on to make LeBron happy. Okay? And let me break this down real quick for those people, because I know we got some Clevelanders that, he could always come back and finish his career in Cleveland. That's not happening, y'all. Let's go ahead and put that to rest, because the Cavaliers right now are on a roll and they have a nucleus. They are not going to let LeBron James destroy it. However, L Train, if he were to go back, the Cavs are not trading for him. They're not giving up any assets for him, and he's coming back on Dan Gilbert's dime. That's it. That's the only way LeBron James will ever show up in the Cleveland Cavalier uniform again. It's going to be on Dan Gilbert's dime. So, yeah, I just Luka, he needs a professional in his life that, and I thought it was Dirk Nowitzki, but apparently it wasn't. And so now you're truly seeing the real. Yep, you're seeing the real Luka Doncic. You're seeing it right now.
Yeah, when you look at you look at Duke. Remember when Luka was first came in the league? Luka was driving the lane, dunking on people. I don't even think Luka can get up right now and dunk by himself. I think you're absolutely right, Rod.
He can dunk a donut.
You can dunk a donut, some Oreos, or whatever. You can dunk a glass of milk. But, Luka has just gotten a lot out of shape. And hopefully this whole transition to the Lakers being traded unexpectedly will help this young man. Sometimes you just need to get smacked upside the head a little bit. Not that he played bad in the series. I mean, he put up some numbers in the series, but he obviously got fatigued. He obviously couldn't guard anybody. So he needs to look at himself in the mirror and make some changes. As far as LeBron James goes, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised that I'm saying this, but I wouldn't mind. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't mind LeBron James coming back to Cleveland. I just wouldn't mind it. The only way, listen to me, the only way I would entertain that is if the Cavaliers won one without him. If this group wins one without him, and LeBron James wants to come back without us giving up any assets to go get him, if he wants to come back and retire as a Cleveland Cavalier, I mean, we were the ones that drafted him. He came back and won us a ring. He went out to L.A. Now he's at the end of his career. Man, if he wanted to come back and retire as a Cavalier after we had won a championship, I wouldn't mind that at all. Does it make a difference, fellas, whether or not this group wins the championship and whether or not you would entertain bringing him back or not?
Okay, you cleaned it up. If we win this year, yeah, sure, I'll welcome him back if we win. But if we don't win and we get real close, I don't want no parts of them. Don't want no parts. So you cleaned it up at the NL Train, so I'm with you. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. What'd you say, Rod? I'm good with that.
You cleaned it up, NL Train.
He cleaned it up good.
To say that I wouldn't take LeBron James back, I'd be crazy. Even though he would be 41 years old, he's still a basketball savant when it comes to understanding the game. He when you look at the development of Evan Mobley, you look at the development of Jared Allen, Darius Garland, just look and see what LeBron did for Kyrie and getting Kyrie to really think the game. Yes, if the Cavaliers won a championship, I would entertain it, as long as we are not giving up any future assets, we're not giving up any draft picks, and you're coming back to Cleveland. under a league minimum or veterans minimum. We ain't paying you $30 million. And two, we know Bronny's coming with you. Bronny's going to stay in the G League for the entire season. He's not going to be on the bench with it. We're not trying to, you've already done that, been there, done it, unless he's earned it. Okay? Now, I'm not going to say that the young man can't earn it. But right now, honestly, is he better than Craig Porter Jr.? No. Is he better than Imani Bates? No. Okay? He's not better than either one of them. So he's going to be in the G League. But, yeah, T, he right. You cleaned it up, L-Train. You cleaned that up real good. You shine that up real good, buddy.
Hey, man, I just like where this team is in terms of the Cleveland Cavaliers. You all know me. Like, I have never wanted really any parts of LeBron James. I give him credit for his legacy. I give him credit for winning a ring in Cleveland. And now this was really the first time, honestly, fellas, where I saw LeBron James go down a level in terms of just his physical prowess on the floor. Like, I thought in all of those games, that fourth quarter, and J.J. Redick didn't help him any by playing him the whole second half, but he looked gassed. He looked tired. It was really the first time where I said to myself, and LeBron takes really good care of his body, where I just said, man, he's starting to go downhill a little bit physically. And so that's what just stood out to me during that game. But, fellas, there's something else going on up here in Wisconsin with the Milwaukee Bucks. A couple of years ago, we were really happy up here with the Damian Lillard trade from Portland. We thought that trade was probably going to produce another ring, although Boston was still out there pretty formidable. But we thought that put us in a conversation. Man, ever since Damian Lillard and Doc Rivers have come into the Milwaukee Bucks organization, it's just kind of been a train wreck. Now you got Damian Lillard popped his Achilles. For all intents and purposes, he's out for all of next year. So now the speculation and the rumors start to creep in about Giannis Antetokounmpo, whether or not he's going to be a Milwaukee Buck. Now, keep in mind, he's already won a ring in Milwaukee. So there are a lot of people out there that think once you win that ring, it almost gives you a permission to leave if you want to because you've done your job. Do you foresee Giannis staying in Milwaukee?
I hope not. He needs to go. He's already won a ring. Doc Rivers, 7-point lead with 35 seconds left. Once again, blew it. I love Doc. He's great with building young talent, mentoring, and bringing them up. But down the stretch, Doc will choke. And once again, he did it. They blew it. Because I was rooting for them to win, to take Indiana another game, to kind of wear them down and soften them up for us, starting the day. But Doc couldn't even get that right. If I was Giannis, I'd run for the hills. That's it. I bet Pat Riley and those are taking a close look at him.
I know they are.
Yeah, Pat Riley's taking a look at him. Sure is. Yep.
Yeah.
But he needs to get out of there. He needs to go.
And let's be honest, man. Doc Rivers is decent in development, but other than that big three in Boston, tell me something that Doc Rivers has won in the league. I mean, he hasn't. I mean, you fired Adrian Griffin, and they were number one in the conference, and you fired him. That didn't for Doc Rivers. And then just like you said, everything has been downhill after it. I feel bad for Dame. I really do, because I really believe Dame came back too early. He probably should have sat a little bit longer, than he was dealing with the blood clots. So, prayers go up for Damian Lillard. But yes, he's going to be out a whole new year. You brought in Kyle Kuzma, which I thought was a mistake, because Kyle Kuzma came from a losing culture. So his mindset is just getting up shots, and he was terrible anyway. I think he was like 33% from three-point range. So why would you bring in Kyle Kuzma? It just didn't make sense. Brooke Lopez is getting older, okay? So, I mean, I think if I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I don't try to push stars out of their team, because I remember when the mass media came and tried to and got LeBron to leave Cleveland to go to Miami. So but for Giannis, so I'm not Trust me, I know those in Milwaukee, if they see it, they're going to be like, Coach Young will hang you in effigy. But if Giannis wants to continue to win, he's not going to be able to do that in Milwaukee. He can't depend on Dame. Dame is going to be, because Dame is older. If Dame was a younger dude, I could say, all right, he can come back, real quick. Dame's an older guy, so it's going to take him some time. All right, now, just like you said, T, just like you said, L Train, yeah, Pat Riley's still a genius. He's going to figure this thing out, and can you imagine? Giannis Antetokounmpo with Bam and Adebayo, okay, and those guys there, okay? Can you imagine, because I saw a clip come across, can you imagine him in San Antonio with Wembanyama? Yeah, can you imagine that? Okay? Now that Greg Popovich has now moved up into the front office, okay, I mean, let's be honest. I can see him in Philadelphia. Okay, because the Paul George experiment fell apart. I can see that happening. Okay, so but Giannis is a loyalist. That's one thing I've noticed about Giannis. Giannis is loyal to the fans and to the people of Milwaukee. But I think it would be better for him, because he's still young enough to compete for a championship. It's just not going to be in Milwaukee, because if you look at the East right now, of course, there's the Cavaliers, there's the Indiana Pacers, that Orlando Magic team is coming up. I mean, they're teams that are on the rise, all right? And right now, Milwaukee, no one fears them. They got rid of Chris Middleton, okay? They traded him to Washington. And so now you're leaning on Bobby Portis, who was a career backup. So I just don't see a future for Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yep. I look at, the Milwaukee Bucks. If I was the Milwaukee Bucks, what I would do, because it's inevitable, I think he's going to leave. I think he's going to leave for a bigger market. And I think what I would do to try to stave that off a little bit is to sit Giannis down and say, hey, look, we put a team around you that helped you win your championship and your ring. So we are capable of doing that. And then we swung for the fences. I mean, we brought in Damian Lillard. We brought in Doc River. No, it didn't work out. But we sometimes you swing and sometimes we miss. So the one thing I would do is lay out a plan of how we're going to get better as the Milwaukee Bucks. They don't have huge contracts, so there is some flexibility. I just don't think that in free agency, you can build it in Milwaukee. It's not a place of destination.
Right.
It's not like it's South Beach. It's not like it's California. So it's going to be hard getting players there. And I do think there's going to be a level of frustration from Giannis Antetokounmpo going forward if they're not able to bring pieces in. So I think both of you are right. I think you're starting to see. I give him one more year in Milwaukee. And I don't even know if he survives the next year in Milwaukee without a trade happening, maybe at the trade deadline. But I think he will be back next year. I think they're going to take a hard look at a reset in Milwaukee, get some draft picks, get some pieces back from Giannis. I don't know where he ends up. The hot rumor is out there with Luka, and the Laker fans out there in California. I don't know. But I think it's something that inevitably is going to happen, fellas. It's going to happen.
So don't be surprised. I'm throwing this out here right now so we can get it on recording. So if it happens, then y'all can say, okay, he said it. Don't be surprised if you see him in L.A., but not for the Lakers.
Oh, the Clippers, Rod?
Yeah. Don't be surprised because the Clippers have the assets. Right now, because of the way James Harden played the other night, they are now done with James Harden. James Harden is a flash in the pan. They have the assets. Norman Powell is playing. He played this year at an all-star level. Okay, they got Zubac back there. Okay, they got some pieces, but they also have some assets that they can use to get him. Okay, i.e. a Kawhi Leonard, i.e. a James Harden. So do not, and I know the Lakers, they'll be involved. They'll try to move heaven and earth. Jeannie Buss is a genius, and so is Rob Pelinka. They'll figure it out. Okay, but they first got to figure out about their 41-year-old former superstar. They got to figure that out. Okay, but don't be surprised to see the Los Angeles Clippers throw their hat in that Giannis Antetokounmpo. I have no facts to back it up. I just see that the Clippers have the assets to pull it off.
I see it.
Well, Rod, when you have a take like that and you get that look on your face, man, I'm going to believe you because everything that you have said thus far, when you get that look, has been bullseye dead on. I remember you talking pre-NFL draft about Jackson Dart moving up the board. I'm like, hot Rod, Jackson Dart?
Yeah.
He moved up the board.
Yeah, he called that. Rod called that. Rod's got a crystal ball out there.
He got a crystal ball. Yeah. Hey, well, listen, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. T, I thought you stated it perfectly last week. You said two planes are going, only one plane should come back. Not only didn't one plane come back, T, but the Cavaliers blew up the other plane to make sure that the Miami Heat were not coming back to Cleveland, man. Just give me your thoughts. I thought the Cavaliers looked really dominant. They look really dominant. I am looking forward to the game today versus the Indiana Pacers because the Indiana Pacers can score. They're a little bit more formidable. There's that plane. They're a little bit more formidable than the Miami Heat. I think it's going to be a great series. Give me your thoughts on last series and what you expect, from this series, fellas.
Yeah, I'm glad the Cavs took care of business. I'm glad that they didn't catch the South Beach flu, like Rod said, which it can happen to you, okay? But they went down there and took care of business, got out of there. Only one airplane flew back north. And now, on to Indiana, okay, who's going to be a tougher opponent, a tougher opponent. They got some big wings, some big wing defenders, okay, and they finished out the season playing well, okay? They closed out the season playing well, so they are a formative opponent, okay? But I see our Cavaliers, taking care of business. They're locked in. Don't mess around with these guys. Continue to play physical. Continue to play the entire game. And I think we're going to get them. Today, I say the Cavs by 15. I say the Cavs by 15 this evening. Yeah, by 15. They're going to get them. And they need to. They need to come out the gate hot, smoking, punch them in the mouth, and make things happen right off the bat.
You bold right now, T. Look at you. You bold. Man, you bold. You said 15. 15 and a bucket of chicken. Boy, I tell you, boy, get at them like that. Listen, they absolutely dismantled the Miami Heat, okay? The trash talking between Darius Garland and Tyler Hero was funny. Even though Darius Garland was injured, the Cavaliers just came out and it was commonly called, like they're saying it this year, it was a Cavalanche. They absolutely just bludgeoned the Miami Heat. I mean, when I saw the press conference at the end with Eric Spoelstra, and he was just like, he had no words. He was just like, this hurts. It's bad. I mean, because the Cavaliers just executed them. Now, this next series is going to be tougher because the Indiana Pacers play a faster style, and they get up and down, they trap, they're pesky. Okay, I do see the Cavaliers winning in 5. I'm calling in 5, possibly 6, but I'm sitting on 5. Today, am I concerned with Darius Garland and this toe? It's starting to create a concern. However, because the Cavaliers are so deep, you got that monster called Ty Jerome that comes off the bench. Sam Merrill's out here playing lockdown defense. I don't know where that came from. And so I don't know if it's 15. I'm gonna let my prognosticating buddy down here call that 15. I do see the Cavaliers winning. I do see Indiana getting one out of this because Indiana's not a bad team. They're a good team. But I think right now, for what I'm seeing out of Cleveland, is these guys are absolutely locked in. They're ready to go. It's not about I think they look at Indiana as just the next step. And I really truly believe that they will get through Indiana in 5. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not afraid of Boston. I'm not afraid of Boston at all. Boston is struggling. Okay, Tatum has been nicked up. Brown has been nicked up. And then I watched New York beat Detroit, and that's the only time I was rooting for Detroit because of JB Bickerstaff. I was rooting for Detroit, but that dude Jalen Brunson was a problem. He was an absolute problem, and there wasn't nothing they could do about it. So, but I do see the Cavs winning today. And you know what? Yeah, I'll go out on a limb. Let's say it is double digits. Let's call it double digits. Okay. It'll be a double-digit win.
Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think this is a NBA Finals team. They are hungry. The one thing that concerns me, Rod, is what you just said about Garland's toe. That's starting to concern me a little bit. It is why I think the Cavaliers control this series. I think they win this series in 6, but I do think they drop this first game. I do. Okay. I do think they drop this game because I know how teams are. They're coming off a dominant series against the Miami Heat. Now you throw in that injury. I think the human brain gets complacent, and that's hard. That's hard to override. And so I think Indiana, who's a formidable opponent, they can score buckets. They know how to score. And I think they're going to come out and try to hit Cleveland in the mouth. If Cleveland can't respond right away, I look at it as a loss. But I do think they come back from that. Like, I think Cleveland is a much better team. And if they do lose the day, which I hope I'm wrong, I think they come back and they control the rest of the series. I have no concern about the Cleveland Cavaliers winning this series at all.
My only caveat to that, and I will counterpoint you, my friend, with this, is where the Indiana Pacers, they don't have a real standout. Of course, you can say Tyrese Halliburton, but there's that dog on the Cavaliers bench by the name of Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
And there is no one on the Pacers squad that can deal with Donovan Mitchell when Donovan Mitchell's locked in. And I'm be honest, there's when Evan Mobley is locked in, they got nothing. They have nothing. So that's why I feel like the Cavaliers are going to come out and they're going to punch him in the mouth, because Donovan Mitchell is going to let them know, yeah, we beat Miami, that's over with. Now this is the second round. We need to focus in. We need to lock in. And I really, the more and more that I talk about it, I just truly believe that the Cavaliers are going to bust them in the face, and it's not going to be anything that the Indiana Pacers can do about it. I'm going to tell you, the first quarter is going to tell you how that game is going to go. And if the Cavaliers go into if you see that Cavalanche begin, Indiana does not have an answer for the Cavalanche. They don't. They do not. So that's why I think the Cavaliers are going to come out and punch them in the mouth. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah. I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope I'm wrong. Did you guys see the interaction between Halliburton and his dad? And
oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Quick thoughts on that?
He'd have got punched in the mouth. Mr. Halliburton would have got punched in the mouth. Listen, I watched, NBA or TNT, and I listened to Shaquille O'Neal, and I sat back and I said, big fella, you talking from a hypocritical standpoint. You a dude who punched Brad Miller into space, bro. You the one, come on, man. If somebody approaches you, okay, out of the blue and stands in front of you like that, Shaq may not have punched him, but Shaq would have laid hands on him. You understand what I'm saying? Shaq would have laid. So I understand what Charles is saying. Mr. Halliburton would have gotten busted in the mouth. Now, the Pacers did ban him for the rest of the playoffs. They told him he couldn't come to any home games or any away games. That was just, to me, it was unprofessional, and I do appreciate that Tyrese Halliburton came out and said, my father shouldn't have done that. My father was wrong. I will deal with it. And he did. So kudos to Tyrese Halliburton.
You're right. And had he approached the wrong player, can you imagine him approaching Draymond like that, or Matt Barnes, or even Kobe, Yeah, he's lucky. Giannis is mild-mannered, good, decent dude. And he, No anger outbursts from Giannis, but yeah, shame on Dad for doing that. Yeah, shame on him. Yeah, he needs to stay out of the arena. Stay out of it.
Could you imagine him approaching Charles Oakley like that?
Oh man,
It would have been over.
Oh man, yeah,
It would have been over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not allowed, man. Yeah, that's not allowed. I mean, even remember the one playoffs with the Celtics and the Cavaliers when Kevin Garnett and I don't know if it was Ray Allen or if it was Paul Pierce, they knocked LeBron down, and Gloria James got up, and LeBron stood up and said, "Sit your bleep down."
Sure did.
Yeah.
Okay, because that wasn't now Mama was being Mama. I appreciate that, but that wasn't her place. And so for Mr. Halliburton, that wasn't his place. Yeah, support your son, cheer for him, root him on, but to go to Giannis like that in the way that he did it, no, come on, man, you know better than that.
Yeah, these parents and dads are passionate. I mean, you could go back. I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago about Ja Morant's dad. Shannon Sharp getting into it, on the floor of the court during the game. And so these parents, I like the way Halliburton handled it. He said he was going to handle it. It sounds like he won't be at any more Pacer games. He's going to be watching from home from what it sounds like. So, yeah, very, very unfortunate incident. Still some fallout, fellas, last week from the draft and from the whole Shedeur Sanders thing. Come to find out, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, the name is escaping me. I know he's the D coordinator for the Falcons. His son supposedly
$250K.
went into his laptop, got the information out, gave it to a friend, and you saw in video, these guys were stupid enough to tape it, called Shedeur Sanders with the prank phone call. Now, help me out with this, fellas. I know there should be some accountability. All right, so don't get me wrong. There should be some accountability to this, but the coach of the Falcons was fined $100,000. The Atlanta Falcons organization was fined, I believe, $250,000. There were people that were calling for the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator to get fired, to lose his job. Now, I know that he was given important information. Like, this is important stuff, all that contact information from the NFL. Like, you just can't go to a restaurant or go to a public setting and have that stuff just laying out for people to have access to. But, fellas, he was at home. He was at home with his family and his kids. Like, I think the kids should be punished for doing some stupid stuff like that, classless stuff like that. But I'm surprised to hear a lot of the venom going towards the defensive coordinator when he was at home. Like, I just felt like they came down on him pretty hard. What are your thoughts on that?
So the defensive coordinator's name, I had to look that up real quick. Jeff Ulenik.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Jeff Ulenik. Yeah. I look at it like this just control your kids, man. Control your kids. I understand you at home, but us being fathers, I mean, there's just certain things that, to me, it's off limits. What made his son believe that it was going to be okay for him to do that? And then, of course, in another boneheaded move, you go ahead and you record it. It makes no sense. No, do I want him fired? No, I don't want the Jeff Ulenik fired. I don't want that to happen. He made a mistake, okay? Shedeur, classy as Shedeur is, he moved on from it. He said it was goofy. And that, now, being a father, I have to spend $100,000 on you. Oh, I'm going to get my $100,000 back, sir. Exactly. I'm going to get my $100,000 back by hook or by crook. You going to get me this money back. Yeah, bro, you might end up having to end up having to go to community college because you're going to give me my money back. You're going to pay for it, okay? So I just think it was a very ignorant move. It was just young men being dumb. But like I said, Shedeur Sanders, to his credit, he handled it with class and dignity, even when he was questioned about it. And to let y'all know, I have to find it. I'll find it and I'll let y'all know another time. It actually happened twice. So they called Shedeur, but then there was another draft pick who somebody prank called. Yeah, I gotta find that info out. So it wasn't just him. So, but yeah, I mean, the organization got fined significantly, and the defensive coordinator got fined. And so, but yes, I do agree, L Train. Yeah, the kid walks away scot-free for doing something goofy like that. But I guess I ask you guys this question: what could you do to him? What honestly can you do? He's a college student. Were you gonna kick him out of college? No, it wasn't. It was goofy and it was egregious, but I mean, he didn't hurt anyone. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he didn't like physically hurt anybody. I mean, it was just a goofy prank that went wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I like I said, 100 G's coming out of my pocket. Yeah, when you get home for the summer, son, it's gonna be a lot of grass cutting you gonna do, bruh, cause you gonna give me my money back. Yeah.
The exec did deserve to lose his job. However, he's responsible. You know, me being in the military all the years I was, and as a senior person, when my sailors did stupid stuff, the captain came after me because I was responsible for the guys. Then it was on me to handle them, you know. And again, I love how Shedeur handled it with class. Move on. Now the kid pulling the prank, doing the prank, going forward, social media and his peers, and when he's out at the bar drinking and people spot him, want to go upside his head, that's something he's gonna have to deal with. Yeah, that's something he's got to walk with the rest of his life. Yeah. There you go.
Oh man.
See, I like that, T. You know, I forget the military aspect. Obviously, I was never in the military. You were. And I know in the military, there are no excuses. So the fact if the soldiers under you weren't doing their job, they went to the boss. And so I can see that. Now, you know, that's a different perspective, something that I never, ever thought about. Real quick, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. Shedeur Sanders, QB1, by the time Week 1 starts next year, QB1?
Nah. Right now,
I really do.
it's gonna be Flacco.
I want him to be.
I think it's gonna be Flacco. But it's gonna be a fight between Flacco and Kenny Pickett. I think the more expendable one is actually Joe Flacco. So I saw Mary Kay Cabot, the great Mary Kay Cabot. She has been saying constantly that day one starter is going to be Kenny Pickett. She believes that Kenny Pickett will win the job. I honestly, because looking at Dylan Gabriel, he's an accomplished quarterback. But I truly believe if Shedeur comes in and focuses the way I believe he will, I think he'll beat Dylan Gabriel out. They're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks, and with Deshaun Watson, that's 5. They're not going to keep 5 quarterbacks. So somebody's got to go. So to me, that somebody is the 40-year-old veteran. I think Kevin Stefanski likes Kenny Pickett. Honestly, I don't know why. But he likes Kenny Pickett. I think they brought Joe Flacco back to appease the fan base. That's why they brought Flacco back. And then, of course, once Kirk Cousins, that stuff fell through, then they had to go get Joe Flacco. So my call is honestly, game 1 will be Joe Flacco.
Well, my thing, Rod, is how would I put it? Prior to Shedeur coming there, I was okay with if Kenny Pickett got the job. Now that Shedeur is there, I want Shedeur to beat him out because there's a reason Philly let him go. There's a reason that the Steelers gave up on Kenny Pickett. Now, granted, he played 4 years at Pitt. He's been in the league a few years. You would think it would be him. But I want Shedeur to beat him out. But you know what? Bigger picture, all said and done, I want the best quarterback to be under center game 1 and take it from there. I want the best quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I'm rooting for Shedeur myself, but I'm eliminating the emotion side of it, and I'm just looking at it from a football standpoint. Is you have a 5th round pick, even though he's not a 5th rounder. You have a 5th round pick, which means he's got to work his way up. Dylan Gabriel, is not a slouch, and I wish people would stop disrespecting Dylan Dillon Gabriel. He was a quality quarterback at Oregon, okay? And there was a reason that they picked him at 33rd, okay? Now, Kenny Pickett has bounced, Pittsburgh let him go, but I think where the Browns see value in him is because he played behind Jalen Hurts, and then he was in a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He can say he's a Super Bowl quarterback, of course, wink, wink, air quotes, but they see something in Kenny Pickett that he's younger. The reason that I believe they brought in Joe Flacco, number one, like I said, to calm the fans down, because when you say, hey, Kenny Pickett's going to be our starting quarterback, right, everybody remembers Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, and they're like, are you serious? Really? So that's why they brought Joe Flacco back.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it's going to be a competition, but I think it's going to be a competition between Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. I think Joe Flacco is penciled in as game one because he already knows the Stefanski offense. It's nothing for him to learn. He came in, when they picked him up 2 years ago, and he ran that offense like clockwork, taking them to the playoffs. So I don't think and he's 40, so I don't see Joe Flacco taking a whole lot of snaps during training camp. I do see Kenny Pickett, and I do see Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I wish football season was starting tomorrow, but we got the NBA playoffs to watch, and then we get into training camp, and then we get ready for the NFL. I can't wait for the NFL next year.
And then we still got baseball going on. Still got baseball.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Hey, the Guardians won one last night on a ninth inning, grand slam home run. But I get you, L. Trey.
Yeah. I'll tune in every now and then. Sorry to all my baseball fans out there, but I'll tune in every now and then. I got something that I want to transition to. I'm about to put the fellas on the spot right now. We didn't have any pre-show meetings about this because I wanted to tap into their brains spontaneously. So this is what I'm going to do. We're about to play a little game, T and Rod. We're about to play a little game. All right? Now, the game is this. The game is called Start One, Cut One, Bench One, Erase One. All right?
Wow.
So starting basically means this is your ranked number one person. If you bench them, you still want them, but this is probably your ranked number two person. Number three is cut. You probably like them, but you got to get rid of somebody. And then number four, here's the hard one. Number four is erase. Like you've got to erase this person from the record books like they never existed. So I'm going to give you 4 NBA players, 4 of them, that I just want you to contemplate. The first one is the great Kobe Bryant. Los Angeles Laker great, unfortunately had a passing, died in a helicopter crash, but we all know who Kobe Bryant was. Number 2 is arguably the GOAT. In my opinion, he is the GOAT, Mr. Michael Jordan. All right? Mr. Michael Jordan is in there. Number 3 is arguably the GOAT, Mr. LeBron James from Akron, Ohio. And then last but not least, to round out the list, is Steph Curry, a young man who revolutionized the game of basketball in terms of the three-point shot. He made the three-point shot sexy. So you look at those 4 names, all great. There are no wrong answers to this, but I'm interested in your brains. Who would you start? Who would you bench? Who would you cut? And who would you erase from the record books? Talk to me, fellas.
Let me go first, Rod. Number
you
1,
got it. Go get it.
MJ. Number 2, I'd have to go.
You would start Michael Jordan.
I start Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Okay. And then the second one is bench. I'd have to bench LeBron. Okay? Crazy that sound. Bench him.
The next one is cut.
The next one is cut is Steph. Steph. He's never made a game-winning basket, and all he does is shoot threes. You go in any gym, all the little kids are behind the three-point line. You can't get them to do anything else. They're all just launching up threes.
All right, so the last one is a race. That would have to be, I'm going to let you say it, T, who you're about to erase from the record books.
Wow.
Tough,
That's
man.
a tough one. I wish I could switch, Steph be the one that I erase and then put Kobe there. Because it's hard to erase the late, great Kobe. So, man, I didn't do well on this game. I didn't do well on this.
Yeah,
Yep,
this is
but
tough.
I have to.
This is tough. Hot Rod, what you got, man?
All right, so
Okay.
go ahead.
Go ahead, T.
Go ahead, T.
I'd erase Kobe. So MJ won, bench LeBron, X out Steph, and then erase Kobe, unfortunately. Erase Kobe.
Okay, I can respect that. Go ahead, Rod.
All right, just after some careful deliberation, this is a good question. It's rough, but of course I'm starting Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I'm going to bench LeBron James. Yeah. I'm going to bench LeBron James. I'm going to cut the Mamba, and I'm going to erase Steph Curry. Okay.
I like that.
And so my logic is, of course, the reason that I cut Kobe is because I get the same thing from Michael. Kobe said that there is no Kobe Bryant without Michael Jordan. So I get this. I got it. So I'm taking Michael.
That's a good point.
LeBron James, the reason I'm taking LeBron James is because LeBron James is multifaceted. He's multi-talented. He's not just a scorer, but he's a facilitator. You know what I mean? He's a rebounder. He can defend. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm using, LeBron. I didn't want to cut Kobe. I really did not want to cut Kobe. But the reason that I erased Curry is because, in my humble opinion, even though they consider him the greatest shooter of all time, I think in certain aspects he's ruined the game. And I can debate that all day. Don't get me wrong, I've seen the shots, but now, being a coach, when you walk into the gyms and you watching these young kids warming up, where we used to do the Mikan drill up under the basket, or we would, go mid-range, everything you see with a kid now is he's going behind the arc.
Yeah, big men are doing it, Rod. Big men.
Right. And so that's what, and it's no disrespect to Chef Curry, but if you put me in this game, so I'm gonna give you the hard truth. So yes, I'm gonna erase Curry, I'm gonna cut the Mamba, I'm gonna keep LBJ, and I'm gonna keep Michael Jordan.
Okay. I thought about this one long and hard, man. This was really hard for me. I think we all agreed on the first one. Michael Jordan is starting for my team. Then when you get to who's on the bench, that was a tough one. I like Kobe because he stayed with one team. He's got more rings, and Kobe was a killer. Here's where I give LeBron the edge, though. LeBron's longevity in this game.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that. And then you also can't ignore he's an all-time leading scorer in the NBA. So how do you cut? How do you cut back?
Right.
So LeBron would be on my bench, and then unfortunately I would have to cut Kobe. And then I'm with you guys as much as this hurts, because I believe there's always an evolution of basketball, and Steph is a part of that evolution, whether you agree with it or not. I would have to erase Steph Curry from the record book. So LeBron starting. Michael Jordan starting, LeBron's on the bench. I cut Kobe, and I erase Steph Curry.
That's a great question, man. That's good stuff, L Train. I like that. That hit me right in the medulla oblongata. It got me right back there. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, so we're gonna rehearse, Rod, so he should have had the best take.
I should have had the best. Hey, well, listen. here's the deal. We're going to rotate this thing. You guys come up with the same concept using 4 different people. I mean, you can use this with boxing. You can use this with football. I mean, there's a lot of different things you come up with. I think we'll look forward to this segment every week. It's a hard.
Yeah, I like this. I like this one. I like it. Now, because you got my brain working already. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next one. Yeah, that was good stuff, though. I like that. I like that.
Well, as always, we have parting shots. We'll start off with Hot Rod for your parting shot of the week, man.
So, my parting shot of the week is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, through all the turmoil, the trials, and the tribulations that he went through, he came into Cleveland, and he, the first thing he did was he went to John Marshall High School, and he spoke to those young people at John Marshall High School, and there was wasn't bringing phones, and he didn't have all the bling on, and he wasn't doing the watch thing. He was literally just talking to these young people, about life in general. And to me, that's a franchise quarterback. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders for him just considering, and trying to get entrenched in the fan base in Cleveland, especially with the young people.
That's a good one. I love that.
Great take, Rod. I'm going to close out with Pop stepping down for health reasons, going into the front office after 33 seasons with the Spurs, 1,561 wins, 5 NBA titles, and 3-time Coach of the Year. Got to give it to Pop. However, though, you got to attach a footnote with Pop, because under Pop, we got load management, okay? We got load management. And also, too, he was tied to Kawhi Leonard not trusting the medical staff in San Antonio, and, which kind of led to him, leaving that organization. I don't think he handled that well. And one thing the NBA won't miss is those.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I loved his interviews.
My parting shot is Greg Popovich also. And I know there's a lot of things that have been heralded about Greg Popovich, duly so. Great coach, had a great run with the Spurs, one of the most iconic coaches to ever be in the NBA. But what I'll leave our audience with in terms of Greg Popovich, and we won't take a deep dive into this, but look at some of the things that he stood for off the court as well. Not only was he a great person, or is a great person, he's just moving into the front office. I don't want to make it sound like the man died or anything.
Right.
He's moving into the front office, but he is a great person as well. So for those of you out there that are not familiar with Greg Popovich and some of the things that he stood for socially, politically, just take a gander at that, research that, and it'll show you the type of man that he was. Well, fellas, another episode down the stretch. Hey, man, this thing is growing. A lot of people reaching out. They love the show. We still got some bugs that we got to iron out, man. But once we get this thing rolling, the one thing that I heard about our show is that they love the subject matter and they love the chemistry that we have with the three of us on this show. So we're just going to keep ironing out some of these wrinkles. And within a couple of months' time, we're going to have this thing rolling with 3 the hard way. So as always, fellas, I appreciate you. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, man, listen, I'm going to always enjoy this. This is fun, just talking sports with two brothers from the Ville. That's all it is. Everybody have a wonderful week. I always say, make your week. Don't let your week make you, man. And then just have fun.
What do you got, T? I think T may be frozen.
Oh, okay.
There he is. We got you.
Yeah. Can't hear you, T, but that's all right. That's all right.
We got you. And of course, I'm signing off. Please check out the Let's Talk About It podcast. You know, T has put out some information about his bookstore. Feel free to give him some orders, you know, to increase the literacy in our country. Check out his bookstore link. And then myself, I host Unconventional Playbook. It's more, you know, Vikings, Minnesota sports centered, but we dabble in a couple of other things as well. We don't just keep it in Minnesota, but feel free to check that out as well. And as always, thank everyone for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Later.